And welcome to the Lillian McMorris Show. I'm Lillian McMorris, and we thank you so much for joining us. We've got an excellent guest. I'm going to get right into it because I'm interested in all of this good stuff that's sitting beside me. So I would like to welcome Miss Lynette Sawyer. Welcome, Lynette.
Thank you,
Thank
Lillian,
you
for inviting me.
so much for being here. Last time we talked, of course, you're a teacher in the Clark County School District, and you've retired now and putting 100% into the Hispanic Museum of Nevada.
That's correct.
So tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I was thinking about that, and the board was thinking about the reasoning behind the museum.
Okay.
And we came to the conclusion some time ago that we wanted to create a sustainable an institution that was going to impact our community and educate the community about the diversity of Latinos, not only in Las Vegas, but in the nation.
Exactly.
And so that's what we've been doing.
And if I might paraphrase, and you can find this on the website, the Hispanic Museum of Nevada, which is at www.artmuseumlasvegas.com. The Hispanic Museum of Nevada is dedicated to promoting awareness, education, and resources of diverse Hispanic cultures and traditions to enhance intercultural understanding among community members.
That is correct.
And I think that that just full force just says everything about what you have there.
That's right.
Now, how do you get people to come to the museum? What are we, I know we're going to show a few things actually, but your purpose is to educate and inform and of course entertain, because you want people to be entertained when they come. That's right. So how do you get them to come?
Well, as you know, we've been doing this for quite some time,
Right.
over 20 years. And we wanted to plant a seed about all of our mission statement.
Okay.
So what we have done is that we ensured that we educated the children first, and then the families, and we have senior programs and programs that cover the gamut of all the age groups. So the way that we do, we bring in the audiences is through our programming, through our diverse exhibits.
Right.
Now,
what sort of programs do you have?
Well, we have quite a number of programs. We have programs, a camp for children that's called Institute of Culture.
Oh,
we have
cool.
a program for seniors and artists that's called Memories in Art. We have an emerging artist program where we support local artists as well as show them the ropes about how to introduce their art into the world into the community. We also have something that we've just instituted. It was a major goal the last 2 years since we moved into the Boulevard Mall. That is called the Casa de la Cultura Latina, which is the House of Latino Culture. And through collaborating with many of the local cultural groups that existed only in name, but now have a little spot within the museum.
Within your museum.
Correct.
Okay.
They are able to entertain, to provide traditions and introduce their traditions to the community. And so we have
So you have various events where they can do
events,
that?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. See, I heard you mention the Boulevard Mall. So is that where the new museum is located, in the mall?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, we are so excited. We've moved 6 times.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I didn't, because I put a little note here where, because I didn't want to say an address until I found out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've been very, very lucky as far as growth is concerned. And so we were approached by the Boulevard Mall to have a space in this mall. And Sansone Company has just taken it over. And they are also embracing our presence there at the museum, at the mall.
That is so exciting. Because you know what? You go to the mall and you're really not expecting that.
That's it.
And then all of a sudden there's this museum and something nice to look at, and on the window dressings and all of that. And speaking of window dressings, let's talk a little bit about what you brought me. Now, is this historical that we have? Or?
No, most of the items that I've brought with me are contemporary items. This is by a Cuban artist. His name is Wilson Posada. He is an artist that has been here in the community for not that long of a time, but his work is incredible. He is one of those very varied, one of those artists
Okay.
who has a lot of knowledge about different types of artwork, tile,
Love it.
yeah, ceramics, painting.
And I see a mask over here.
This is from the Peruvian Association of Las Vegas.
Okay.
And this is a contemporary piece that's sold in Peru, but they have all different types of masks because, as you know, or aware of,
Right.
masks are something that are very common
in
within-
Peru. That's
in different cultures for different
that's
reasons.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
That is a decorative piece. So,
But my favorite is this one right here.
yes,
This
that
is
was
beautiful.
specially made for me by one of the artists. His name is Ricardo Fierro.
Okay.
And this is such a wonderful story of our emerging artist program.
Okay.
He came to the museum at the mall. And he said, I'd like to talk to you about some work that I do. I said, oh, sure. He was an older gentleman, and he brought a few pieces with him. And he said to me that he had not started working on this medium until after he had retired.
Okay.
And that he didn't think his work was that great. So we said, we'll be the judge of that. Bring
Correct.
in your work. And when we saw all of the
Is
work.
that leather?
That is leather. Yeah, that's leather. We just couldn't believe it.
I know. So I kept looking at it because I couldn't figure out what it was. Oh, my.
That's leather. And he does Mayan and Aztec work and just beautiful,
Oh,
beautiful
that is
work.
beautiful.
So needless to say, he feels much better about his artwork now.
Absolutely. Let me put the mask back in the utility basket.
Exactly.
Do you have anything coming up soon, or we pretty much just want to invite people to come by? Doors are open, and give us the times.
Well, first of all, I just want to say that this is more than just, a Latino, Hispanic type institution.
Okay.
This is something that we built with the purpose of staying in the community for many, many years. Working on a succession plan where, I will move on and other people will take the lead.
Right, okay.
So with that in mind, we branched out, and we have the Latino Short Film Festival
Right.
that we do in October.
That's near the end of the year.
Yes,
right?
that has been very, very successful. We have several art exhibits coming up. We always have throughout the year.
Well, what we'll do is let's give the website again.
Yes.
And the phone number.
Okay.
So people can actually go and find out what events and what programs you have. And of course, we
Absolutely.
all go to the mall. So we're going to say, let's go back to the Boulevard Mall. Because unfortunately, a whole lot of people have left the Boulevard
That's right.
Mall. But because of the changes there, we're finding that a lot of folks are coming back.
That's right.
And it's a lot safer because you've got Metro in the mall now. They've
Yes.
got their office there. So it's a lot safer.
It's a nice place.
The
yeah.
Hispanic Museum of Nevada. For more information, you can go to their website at artmuseumlasvegas.com. That's artmuseumlasvegas.com.
Yes,
Okay.
the number is 773-2203, 773-2203. And you can also find us on Facebook.
Okay.
That has all the upcoming events and photographs, and the website is a more stable page.
Well, check out the website. And again, that phone number is 702-773-2203. That's 773-2203. And it has loads of stuff, lots of awareness, lots of education, lots of resources. And overall, just go in there and have fun and enjoy all of the good things that you can see, learn about the artists. This is the Hispanic Museum of Nevada. Thank you so much, Lynette, for
My
joining
pleasure.
us.
Thank you.
The Lillian McMorris Show is produced by Tego & Associates Productions, Full Service Productions, corporate videos, websites, commercials, multi-camera shoots, either in our studio or on location. That's Tego & Associates Productions. Give us a call at 702-509-7728. 100 Black Men of Las Vegas. Would you like to be a member? Giving your time back to the youth in our community. Our #1 project is mentoring. Join 100 Black Men of Las Vegas. There's a membership drive. Call 888-812-5455 for more information. The Lillian McMorris Show is brought to you in part by Louisiana Gumbo and More. Located on West Charleston. The best gumbo, fried catfish, salads, and don't forget the po' boys. That's Louisiana Gumbo and More on West Charleston. We tried to give some information in our community. We try to highlight people that are making a difference in our community. And this time I would like to welcome a man who came to our community in 1997. And he came here running, skidding, sliding, doing all the things that needed to be done and getting involved in the community. If you'll please welcome Dr. Louie Overstreet.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad. My arm is still sore, but I'm here.
From where I hit you?
No, where you twisted me.
Oh, got you. Because I did to do that. I know. Now, I met you back in 1998 when I was doing another show, and you were a big, prolific writer and did this wonderful history of Las Vegas. And I mean, the book was fabulous.
Well, thank you.
Absolutely fabulous. So what sparked your interest, number one, to move to Las Vegas, and number two, to write a book?
I think it was, in fact, it was based on my history in Alaska. I wrote a book on the history of Alaska called Black on a Background of White. And the research I did there it taught me a lesson about how to go about doing research on the history of black folks that had not been documented up until that time. So I just used that as a template from Alaska to Las Vegas, where black steps on the desert sand. So it took me, about 6 months to do the research and then the editing and the writing another one. So I did it within a year.
Right. Right. Well, that's the way you write. I mean, I've seen you write grants in your sleep, so we know what you've got. Being I know you're very good.
Thank you.
You love to joke and you love you're funny and you make us all laugh, but we forget how intelligent you actually are, because being a civil engineer, you would have to be.
Well, thank you.
And what's the third book that you wrote? Because you authored three books.
It was the third one was on how to start up an investment club among friends and how that investment can grow over the years. So that was basically how to start an investment club among, in fact, the members we drew from our investment club were members of the same fraternity. But they can be sorority, civic clubs, girls, even girls or men you grew up with. There's just a little core group where you want to start off with about 10 people and grow it. So we were able to do that. And after a few years, we were able to buy a vacation home in New Bern, North Carolina, and we had quite a bit of stock in the stock market. So we should have held on to the money in the stock market.
Yeah, you should have held on, because it's coming back now.
Right. It was up. I think when we started investing, it was around 3,000 or 4,000. Now it's up over 16.
Oh my gosh.
So we could have quadrupled our money if we had stayed in.
Absolutely. And over a period of time, you've written 500-600 editorials. What sparks your interest? Because I guess what I'm trying to get to is being a writer, and you're an absolutely excellent writer, and knowing not only history, but how to research it and get all your information, you retain just about every fact that I can possibly think of.
Okay.
What sparks your interest to write your editorials?
It's kind of funny. Writing on a weekly basis or either bi-weekly basis, there's always something that's going to be topical within that 2 weeks. Even when I was writing way back in the 80s up in Alaska, there was always something that would occur within that week or 2 week period of time that would allow you to write a 500 to 650 word column. So I've been very fortunate. So usually I try to do things that are current, or the exception I would make was during Black History Month. I would write about Black history, which I have 4 articles in the can for next month already. So,
and that's the other thing that I love about your articles is the factual. They are so factual. It's like things that you don't know, and you read it and you go, I didn't know that.
Well, as critical as we can be of ourselves sometimes, I better be right with my facts. If not, somebody's going to look it up and contradict me.
And speaking of look it up and contradict you, you are, I don't even know what the proper word is to say about you and Facebook. But you bring out some people on Facebook. All you do is put a little topic there, and you say, what think you?
Yeah. It's kind of funny, Lillian. In that regard, it's, given I've lived in 6 different major states and cities, I developed a lot of friendships over the years, and those are the kind of people I seem to attract for friends, the people who love to argue or have an opinion. So it's pretty easy. So people I have met in Pennsylvania, Ohio, North Carolina, Alaska, Illinois, and now here in Nevada. They have stayed
all you have to do, and you put like maybe one little sentence that'll just embark and make them mad, and you can read it. It comes right out. And I can imagine you sitting at home laughing about that.
Oh, absolutely. Being retired now, it's sort of easy to find something to do. I don't know what I would have done if it hadn't been for Facebook, maybe write a couple more books and I can read completely broke.
Right.
Quickest way to go broke is
But
write a
you've
history
always
book.
been technically inclined, you
Yeah.
know, so I can just see you taking Facebook. What is the importance of our community and everyone, especially people of color, being involved in their communities?
I think the unity aspect is very critical, and we are beginning to gain a little sophistication after all these years in terms of politics, but we're still very infantile in our ability to do economic development. Mm-hmm. That is probably the most difficult thing to overcome. I think when integration came about in the 60s, we forgot to integrate everything but the money. And, you know, still the bank lending practices, our ability to raise capital, it's just not there. And we haven't, as a community, been able to deal with that. And that's one of my big regrets in life, not being able to do more to convince people that was a need in that area. But some of the other areas we've shown quite a bit of progress. We had a black president in my lifetime. In fact, in my mother's lifetime, she was 98 when she voted for President Obama. And she lived to be 2 months short of her 101st birthday.
Oh, God
so, I mean,
bless.
can you imagine being born in the rural South in 1910 and how we were treated at that time? And to a certain extent, how we still treated today. But for her to be able to cast a ballot for a black president, I mean, you could see her face lighting up when she
oh my gosh, yes, I can only imagine. 90-something years old, and this comes. I'm going to give out some information because I do know that you write a weekly column in the Sentinel Voice.
Correct.
And it's a little controversial sometimes.
Try to
Somebody
be.
might want to
Try to be.
you do that on purpose.
Yeah,
don't you?
right. I wouldn't do it any other way.
Dr. Louie Overstreet is a prolific writer in our community, and I'm going to tell you he's one of the most intent. I've told him this, so he is much aware. One of the most intelligent men that I have ever met in my lifetime. And you know what? Not only is he intelligent, but he's so funny. And you have to say, okay, laugh, and then he gets back with the serious thing. Dr. Overstreet can be reached at 702-277-4674 if you have some words to say to him about anything that you see he writes each week in the Sentinel Voice. Or you can always email him, and I'm going to tell you, he will email you back. Louie Overstreet at cox.net. And he's always on Facebook. I'm going to tell you, 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever. So if you got a question about community volunteerism, what you can do different, how you can help your community, find out some more about investment planning and all of that, Dr. Overstreet is the man. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yes,
I would love to get you back, and we'll go back into some more history and things like that. I'm going to talk to you about that. But we'd
fantastic.
Love to have you
I
back.
really enjoyed it.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
This is Dr. Louie Overstreet. We thank him so much for joining us. We're going to take a little break. We'll be right back. 10 Golden Keys to Effective Networking. This book is designed to strengthen your networking techniques. It is an ebook for instant download. Go to LillianMcMorris.com. That's 10 Golden Keys for Effective Networking. The Legal Aid Center of Southern Nevada can help you with legal matters. They have a self-help center, so please visit them. If you need representation, it is provided free at the Legal Aid Center of Southern Nevada. Your resource at HB, that is your resource at Hollywood Bound. We are growing by leaps and bounds, and we have office space, meeting space, production, technology, all of the things that you need for your office. If you need to rent an office for a day, a week, or a month, give me a call or email me. info@yourresourcehb.com. We will help you with a full-service office. We would like to talk today to the Rape Crisis Center. Now, this is a very, very serious organization that offers help, hope, and healing to those affected by sexual violence. And I would like to welcome the Executive Director, Danielle Dretzer. Welcome, Danielle.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's so good to see you.
Likewise. It's great to meet you again.
It's been years before.
Yeah.
I think we were talking about a multitude of nonprofit organizations and people getting together to make it work in our community. And now you are the Executive Director for the Rape Crisis Center.
Absolutely.
I guess because of the seriousness of it, let's reach out and let people know exactly what you do, who you're geared to, and the one thing that I do want to touch on, it's not just women.
Absolutely. In fact, we've seen an uptick in the last year. We saw, I think it was 1 or 2% more men that came through the hospital, and we've actually seen more calls from men coming through our counseling center as well. And we see men and women from every age group, every ethnicity, every racial background.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, this is a situation that touches people, everywhere.
Straight across the board.
Absolutely.
Now, when you're talking about your counseling, let's talk about some of the programs that you have at the Rape Crisis Center.
Absolutely. So we have 4 main areas of programming. The first one is our crisis response. So that's available 24 hours a day. We have a hotline, and we will respond to victims who come into UMC Hospital for the sexual assault exam.
Right.
Anytime, day or night, 24/7, 365. And we are able to do that through a wonderful network of both staff and volunteer assistance, which I know we're going to talk about a little bit later. The second area of programming that we have is our advocacy. So after that initial crisis aftermath, we will help victims as they go through the court process and work with law enforcement and, deal sometimes many years later with the prison system, with going to parole hearings, because unfortunately it's a situation that
doesn't
end, right?
Yeah,
It keeps on going, unfortunately. And then the third piece is our counseling center. So we opened our counseling center about 3 years ago, and we've been in a nice expansion mode over the last year or so. So we're up to soon to be 4 counselors with the counseling center. We just added on a Spanish-speaking counselor, and that is available to victims of sexual assault, whether that happened yesterday or 3 decades ago.
Okay.
And we sometimes do
That
have
was my
clients.
next question, because a lot of times the baggage unfortunately gets carried over for years.
Absolutely. And sometimes people had, never dealt with it when it happened, especially if it happened when they were a child and they just did, their parents didn't know about it, or they didn't tell any adults at the time, but they know now, maybe, even decades later,
Correct.
I really need to handle this. I need help, working through this. I'm not having healthy relationships.
So you have counselors available for that purpose, whether it happened today or, as you said, decades ago.
Exactly. And our counselors are wonderful. We do take certain types of insurance, but we do not turn any victim away, based on an inability to pay, fortunately, thanks to some grant funding that we have that supports the center.
Now, the other support, and you touched on it just briefly, is volunteer support. And I know how important with any nonprofit to have volunteers, but yours is specifically changed to meet the challenges of the people who call you.
Absolutely. And, we are so blessed to have volunteers that go through 50 hours of training. So before you say boo, you have to sit through 50 hours of class. On the good side of that is volunteers get a tremendous amount of training and background in our community resources, what's available. They learn about the court and legal system. They hear from law enforcement. They hear from our domestic violence partners, a whole gamut of wonderful community resources and background that is so beneficial to have just as as somebody in the community. It's great information. We have a lot of students from UNLV who may be interested in counseling or social work.
And they can start here. And that's giving back to the community. They get the knowledge that's necessary, and they're there for people who need them.
Absolutely. And we couldn't do what we do without them, because we are a 24/7 organization. We don't have the funding to pay staff, 24/7. So our volunteers are really what enable us to meet that need.
Well, we're going to give a couple of phone numbers at the end, and the office phone number for people who are interested in becoming volunteers would be the number to call.
Absolutely. And the volunteer application is also available on our website.
On the website. This is an anniversary year for you.
It is.
So you've got a lot of great events coming up.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be a busy year. We do. We have our Healing Hearts Walk Run, which is a 4K, 8K walk run. We're celebrating our 40th anniversary this year, in 2014. And so that's why the 4K, 8K. So you can walk or run.
On February 15th.
It's February 15th coming up. And then we're also going to be doing an art auction in April.
Oh, cool.
As well as our night out, which we launched this past year. We'll be doing that probably in August, and then a gala in November. Okay. So lots to do, lots of ways to get involved and
what
help
do you
out.
need from our community, other than volunteers, of course? We know that's first and foremost.
One of the biggest issues for us is just awareness that, you know, unfortunately it's a situation where you never know when you might need our help and resources. So if we can get our number out, that hotline number in every part of this community so that if anybody should need it, they have access to it. We love to be invited to community fairs, health fairs, in every part of the community. We have great volunteers that will come out and help with that. We have staff that will come out. Any opportunity to speak with young people and educate them. You know, we just
and I do
want
have to
people
say,
to
when
know.
you say volunteers and young people, and I am a little prejudiced, yes, because my daughter is one of your volunteers, but I notice that they go to places like the Boulevard Mall, they go to like Tivoli Center, they go, I mean, various parks, so your table set up and all of the information given out to the center, you know. I mean, it's just so wonderful to see people coming out and they actually take the time to come up to the table and find out, what do you do? What do you, oh, I need that. Oh, I knew somebody that I can give that information to.
Absolutely. And that's what we hear over and over is, oh, I have a friend who just told me about something that happened to them when they were a child, or, oh, you know, this is something that I know somebody is going through right now, or I have a friend who's afraid to report what happened, you know, what can I tell her? And so, you know, that's why it's so critical for us to be out there, because we want to reach everybody that's been affected by this and let them know there are resources and support out there for them.
And that's exactly what it's about. Offering help, hope, and healing in Southern Nevada since 1974, and that is the Rape Crisis Center. They've got a wonderful brochure. It's filled with all sorts of information of how you can make a difference, crisis advocacy, counseling and support, education, prevention, and outreach. So please, this is available online. They have all this information online, and their website, it's real easy, rcclv.org. That's Rape Crisis Center, Las Vegas. So it's rcclv.org. If you want to call the office, it's area code 702-385-2153. If you have an emergency or you know someone that needs counseling, that needs something that's happened to them, the hotline number is 702-366-1640, or it can also be, if you're out of the Clark County area, 888-366-1640. So that is the Rape Crisis Center, and they're committed to offering help, hope, and healing to those affected by sexual violence. And the support and the education and all the awareness, we thank you for doing that and being here in our community.
Thank you so much for having me and getting the word out.
Absolutely. That is the Rape Crisis Center. Please give them a call for more information at 702-385-2153. I'm Lillian McMorris, and we thank you so much for joining us.